So I personally feel like this life, everybody has their purpose, their destinies, and sometimes, in as much as it's not particularly clear to us to understand why people do certain things they do, I think it's intrinsically, or when you go into it, there's a reason why certain people are actually doing certain things to survive or to live, right? And what am I talking about? There's a certain buzz that is going on social media about preacher men, right? People that are spreading the various gospels or various aspects of the good word to people in this country. Now, it has caused a division, all right? So, because some people are for the motion, other people are not feeling it that much. And particularly if you ask me, I think it's a very, very delicate, very, very, very delicate kind of issue to handle, because it has its merits and demerits. And everyone, the people that are speaking against it, personally, from where I stand, they have a point, and the other side has a point. So I believe that there should be a decorum. There should be an appropriate way to actually handle this issue, because I was trying to take sides, but I was in the middle, right? I'm standing here, and I'm like, okay, you have a point. Okay, you also have a point. So what do we do? I think we should find a way to sort of strike the balance. So what am I saying? First of all, let me go to what actually brought this story. Now, there's this woman that came from Britain. She's British, and she moved to Ghana. And you know, these days, I mean, there's a lot of advertisement to why our brothers and sisters in abroad should come home. And so she has moved to Ghana, not to even stay for a while, but she has moved full-time to Ghana. So personally, I believe that maybe she came to just have some level of peace and some kind of, not in any way saying that maybe there's no some peace there, but some people prefer some kind of climate and demography to maybe the one in abroad. And then she came here, and looking at the video, she said she's very okay with the situation in Ghana. She likes the environment, she likes the people, she likes where she stays. Until there's a guy on TikTok that normally uses that. Until this, she has a neighbor that is actually a preacher man, and this man happens to be disturbing her peace. Not only her, but most of the neighborhood. What actually the man is doing is he preaches. He just wakes up and decides to spread the word in his compound, right? So he stands in his compound and then preach loudly.
See, this guy only used to preach on a Sunday, and it was like 1 hour or whatever, so I used to just go gym, and by the time I went to the gym, he was finished. But now he started on a Saturday. Now we have to go and talk to the police because apparently it's not, like, entirely legal.
Why are you so close?
Am I your child?
Why are you so close?
No, am I your
Why
child?
are you so close? I'm asking you a question. I'm very calm.
You don't have that right
Old
to
man,
even come to me
I'm
and ask me
asking
any
a
question.
Why are you so close in my face?
What is it?
Are you going to hit me as a woman?
She just walked to me
I'm
and
asking
asked
the
me
question.
as if I'm
Was I shouting?
her child.
No.
Was I shouting?
So why are you taking video?
Because he was going to hit
I'm not
me.
her child.
He's not going to hit
I'm
you.
Okay,
in my
all right.
own
What-
house.
I'm going now.
She
What
cannot
you
just
did-
walk
I'm
to
going
me
now.
and start asking me questions.
Yeah, I can.
I'm not your child. Be careful.
Your fingers in my
Be
face.
careful the
Your
things you
fingers in
do.
my face.
You take me to whatever you want to take me
I was
to.
very calm. I asked
Why
you a
am
question.
I your child?
I asked you, what? You can hit me.
You want to control
I can hit you if I want to.
Wow, okay.
It's
Okay.
not possible.
You can
I
hit me.
can hit you if I want to.
Okay.
It's not.
You are not God. Be careful.
I
You
just
are not
asked you a
God.
question.
You can't control
I
me.
just asked you a question.
You can't control me in my house. Be careful. This is the second time. This is the second time. The third time, you see me. You can take it wherever.
I just asked you a question. I didn't shout. I didn't shout or anything. I'm a devil. I'm a devil.
Whether you shout or not,
Okay.
you don't have that right.
I'm a devil.
This is the last time. You don't
Okay.
have that right. I'm
Okay.
telling you.
Okay.
You can video it and take
Okay.
it to hell.
Right? And in actual sense, we all have a place that, I mean, we all have our houses that we live in. So sometimes we all want some level of peace and quiet to sort of reflect, and even if not reflect and meditate on certain things, you just have to want to have that kind of environment that is serene. But then this man says no. He wants to actually spread a good word and make sure that there is certain things or certain nuggets about the wisdom or the gospel that some people in the neighborhood needs to hear, right? So this is where all the foundation of everything that all the buzz does on social media is coming from. Now, there's been an altercation between the woman and this man. Okay, so actually the woman confronted the man and even reported him to the police station. The man begged in front of the police station. They went to police station, they had some few discussion, and the man actually decided that he will put a brakes to his preaching. Maybe, I don't know, maybe preach undertone or something. But obviously he's not going to preach undertone, because when he decides to do that, the people that he's targeting that they should hear the word, no go hear, so you don't get any option but to spread the word far and wide. So this man actually, I mean, they went to the police station, they had one or two things going on, and then they came to a conclusion that the man should apologize to the woman. Okay, so the man apologized to the woman, and then, I mean, in front of the authorities, he said he won't do that again. Well, according to the woman, after 6 months, the man stopped doing it. I mean, like 6 months after the man's apology, there was nothing like that. Until after 6 months, and then the man started doing the same thing. So he had to go and confront the man again. And then if you've seen the video on the media, it nearly got some way. I mean, the man was even tempted to actually beat the woman, which I believe is not the right thing to do anyway. I mean, for someone that is actually preaching the word, I believe that there's some level of moral code that we're expecting from you, because you should practice what you preach. And from a stance of a believer like me, I don't think that it's the appropriate thing to do morally. But anyway, that's another story for another day. So the man decided to sort of have a physical altercation with the woman. The woman had to record him, and I think the recording probably didn't escalate the situation or something. I don't really know. But good thing is nothing extremely, disturbing happened. So she posted on the media, and then various media outlets picked it up. And there is this popular blogger. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how Scanty should be referred to, but Scanty happens to be a guy that works at one of the famous media houses in Ghana. And he was weighing in on the fact that he feels like the whole concept of people preaching in cars and then preaching in all sort of places, he feels like it's not the best thing to do. And she was together with one of her colleagues in the studio, and he was actually arguing from the point of, okay, look, everybody has their church that they sort of visit, right? Obia wanasori oko. Every blogger in church they go. So, and then he even mentioned that he even went to an all night the night before and stuff. So he feels like people are already hearing the gospel. And so you, maybe preachers going to stand in a car and preaching loudly is not the best thing to do. And well, then again, it's what he said, and then people are not entirely happy with him. Some people think that because he is gaining a bit of fame, he's becoming a bit, you know how we can be here. He just, personally, if you ask me, just an opinion, he's speaking from his perspective on issues that he feels like it's not particularly right. I don't think it has anything to do with where he has reached or anything like that, but you know how it can be. So people, the division is the fact that some people believe that no matter how annoying it might be, there is a purpose for their preaching. And when it comes to spiritual activities or things that has to do with belief system, we should handle it with much care, because it goes deeper than what we see on a physical level. So, and then there's other side that feels like we are brainwashed to actually blindly follow some religious rituals, like maybe preaching in Trotsky and all those kind of stuff. But personally, I've been in Trotsky's where there's a lot of preaching, and I've been in long journeys that, people preach and stuff. And honestly speaking, I think there's sometimes, right, from my perspective, everyone's different. Sometimes there are preachers that are quite considerate and sensitive to the people's environment, right? Some people are considerate in a sense that they know that they have to keep their tone low and then speak in a kind of way that might not be so disturbing to other people. And then some even carry some messages that, Charlie, it's jovial and it's not meant to throw shades, right? Some are particularly focusing on the word and preaching. So even if you are not particularly inclined to a certain religion, you can actually listen to what they are having. And sometimes you never know the word that you listen to, how long you will go, or what kind of perception or the mindset that that particular word will give you. So personally, I feel there's merit there. So far as the people that are preaching the car, because before they preach, in the case of Trotskis, the one that I've witnessed, they ask for permission from the drivers, right? No, I've not seen anybody that has sat in Trotsky that has preached without asking permission politely from the drivers. So mostly the drivers that they give them go ahead. If the drivers don't consent, they don't preach. Okay, they don't preach. So usually when the drivers consent, but sometimes this is the problem. Sometimes the preaching, Charlie, sometimes you make hot, boy. Like, why is shit? Like, maybe you go do your runs, like, they expect things to go certain way, then you don't happen, or you make shit. So, honestly, if you are in a Trotsky, you're trying to, like, have some, at least not, Trotsky is not the best place to have a peace of mind, but find some way to have some peace of mind whilst you sit in a Trotsky, and there's that level of preaching. And sometimes when you are trying to actually be in your corner and use earphone, some of them will feel offended because they feel like it's a way that you are not agreeing to their message and try to push it. But that one is human error. I don't think it's one of those petty things that it comes with being human. So I feel it's one of those things, personally, if you ask me. But generally, from the side of the preachers, they are spreading the word. And I feel like as a society, there's a reason for some of these things to be done. Religion, personally, I feel kind of creates an environment whereby people are morally guided, and it creates a system whereby it can renew people's mindsets so that we can all live in a better society, because it kind of creates a certain level of balance between good and evil. Okay, so I think it has its place, right? The preaching and everything has its place. Wherever they preach has its place. But the problem is when they are preaching and then maybe at that point you are not feeling it, or you are not in that space, and maybe they try to throw shade, and then it becomes a problem. And sometimes I ask myself if other religions actually preach in Trotsky, like Islam, other religions, Christians, or we the Christian, will we accept that? That one is also a question for another day, because some of the passengers are obviously not Christians. So, but largely we accept that Ghana is a Christian country. So, it's acceptable in a certain sense, because this is what we believe, and that's what we are ordained in the country. So, if you look at it that way, it's delicate, right? And I think it's going to be difficult to scrap it off before God and man, a bad thing. Because most of the preachers are very, very, very faithful to whatever they are saying. They go beyond just physical. And if you attack them, they just perceive you to be an opposer. And the best place to put you is you are the devil. If you watch the video of the British woman, the man clearly referred to her as the devil. And we all know how this thing goes. And that's always how it's going to be like when you try to oppose certain things like this. So I personally feel like some of these things has to be regulated by the right authorities. Maybe the station masters, right, should speak to the drivers to sort of give these preachers some level of guidelines when they are coming to preach. Okay, you can preach, but make sure that it's not so disturbing, and make sure that you focus on the word, so that at least you get to do what you have to do, and then other people that have paid to actually serve for the car service will also have some level of peace of mind. Because sometimes, honestly speaking, in as much as you want to take a very neutral perspective, it becomes disturbing, especially when some of them are trying to throw shades at some people in the car that are not really feeling their message, or probably they are not really paying attention to them. So personally, some people have weighed in a lot, but personally, if you ask me, I feel like it's the preaching, the gospel has to be spread. But I think if you have a policy or some kind of a guideline or a system that it can be initiated in the DPRTU, and that maybe the leaders can actually speak to the drivers or the mates to actually give, okay, look, I've given you the permission to preach, but please keep your tone kind of low, because some of them, well, you know what I'm talking about if you've experienced. If you've not, sometimes it can get really loud, right? Very loud. Yeah, loud. Like super loud. Yeah, but personally, me, if it happens that way, sometimes I jam my eye. If I have an earpiece, I just not to be annoyed or irritated, because I know I might not feel it, but somebody else might be in the position to actually receive the message well and probably be of benefit to it. So I try as much as not to focus on that too much, because when I do that, I'll just get irritated and probably make maybe act in a certain way that might not particularly help the situation. But everyone is different. Yeah. So that's what is happening on the media. And I don't know what you think about this. I don't know whether you've experienced being in a trustee when this thing has happened. But if you've been in Ghana, if you are in Ghana, I don't know about other countries, but particularly in Ghana, it's like that. This is our culture now. This is how we are. So we have to sort of, manage it in, the best way that we can. I don't think it's something that can be taken off like easily like that. It can only be managed because this is it's part of our culture. So I don't know what you think. I would like to hear from what you think about this. And then don't forget to subscribe and then like this video. There's a more to come. There's a lot of content that we've planned about. This is just like the initial stages of trying to lay the foundation for the bigger content that's coming. So let's form a team, let's form a community that we can actually exchange ideas and create a good kind of system of exchanging information, solid information, and educative and entertaining one. The name remains Donald, not Trump. I will definitely see you on the other side. Peace.